What up? What up? What's going on? Everybody, welcome. My name is JB. Welcome back to our freshly rebranded YouTube channel, All Time High, brought to you by Unix Gaming. And today we have our first guest of this week, Blast Royale. We are going to be having this live conversation with Anil and Dan. Hey guys, welcome. How are we doing today?
Doing good.
Doing great.
Amazing.
How are you?
Amazing. I'm doing well. I actually just flew across the world, took 3 flights in the past 3-4 days, and it's been amazing. I'm happy to be here in the studio, and I'm really glad to have you guys on stage here.
Thanks for having us.
We're happy to be here.
Amazing, awesome. All right, how do you want to start this? I know I'm the host, but I respect my guests. So how are you feeling today? What have you been up to? Just tell us a little bit.
Well, today's pretty funny because in the UK, our Prime Minister's just resigned, which is actually good news for us. So it's a pretty epic day. So I got to play the latest version of Blast Royale, and I got to see someone I hate resign as Prime Minister from the country. I would say probably
Nice.
9 out of 10 so far. The only bad thing is it's a bit overcast outside, not the summer weather. Otherwise, it'd be 10 out of 10.
Well, this is London. Like, you guys have like 4 hours of summer in a year. You must be used to that. How about you, Rennie?
Yeah, all good. We're working on some really exciting things in the next few weeks with the game. So for the marketing team, we are all eyes on what's about to drop. So it's all systems go for us right now.
Do you think you could show us something today that nobody saw?
Might be able to. We'll see how it goes.
All right.
We'll see how the stream goes.
Can we see in the comments? Is anybody excited to see something exclusive from the Blast Royale team? Just let us know, and maybe we're gonna put something up.
That's a good start, Anil.
Anil, you're handsome. Okay. Are you single? Taken?
There's many more handsome people on the team than me. They're so handsome they can't come on the cast because otherwise no one would ask any questions. They just spend all day looking.
True. No, we have a pretty good combo in here. It's the really good looking AMA we have. Should we put a tag like this, like handsome AMA or something? Yeah, that would be cool. Rennie, you muted. I don't know if that was on purpose or not.
Yeah, I was actually trying to find something ahead of it revealed if we've got anything.
All right. Well, while you're looking, I can just ask Anil to tell us just a little bit overall of, like, let's say somebody never heard about Blast Royale before. What is it? Why Blast Royale? Why is that title? What made you to create such a game?
Yeah, sure. So Blast Royale, it's a mobile battle royale game. It's designed for the Web3 generation. So trying to take advantage of all the cool things you can do in the blockchain. We want to make a really fun, frenetic, adrenaline-fueled game that people can play. That's kind of why we got the name Blast Royale. You should have a blast playing it. You should be able to shoot your friends in the face. Also a blast. That kind of thing. And live life to blast off. LFG, that kind of lifestyle. That's the sort of thing that we wanted to kind of like really lean into. Why did we decide to make it? So we were intrigued by, I guess, the play to earn revolution that you see happen all last year, but we felt that a lot of the games on the market weren't very good fun to play, and a lot of our team is like very experienced in making video games. We worked on some top tier titles. We have people that worked on games like Tomb Raider, on Street Fighter, some of the Resident Evil series, Monument Valley by our CEO Neil. So we're used to making like amazing games, and we felt it's about time someone made an amazing game in this space that also had all the power of NFTs and the ability to earn tokens. So that's what Blast Royale is, and we couldn't be more excited to get it into people's hands. And I've got to say that everyone in the company is really excited. I think to really show the sort of gamer culture that we have a play test every day where the whole team plays through. We had one today. Yeah, just had it before we had the podcast of you. And what was really exciting is that one of our developers, he's just had a child with his wife, but because he's been out of the team for like 2 weeks, he's just come back and he like suggested doing some design balancing. So he made the build at midnight yesterday for all of the team today, and we were all playing it through today, and it provoked some good conversation. And I think that shows you the spirit in our team that like people are really always thinking about how to make cool gameplay, how to make it better. And this guy, by the way, normally he's our server engineer, so he doesn't even deal with like the kind of moment-to-moment gameplay. But he went to say, "Oh, here are my ideas, guys. Why don't you try it out?" So I think that's really important, because I don't know who else you've had on your cast and stuff like that, but we are just complete nerds, right? We love video games. I mean, I showed you this before, JB, but just to kind of prove it, this is like my Street Fighter arcade stick, and this one was actually signed by the director of the game. It's someone that I worked with, so I worked on that too. And then we have it in the office because we quite often play, video games as well as our own games. So.
Amazing. It's like you have your own controller basically, but like the OG one, and it's signed.
Yeah. Although it's funny, it's so old now, you can see my age that it's kind of fading out a little bit. But I need to get a new one. Maybe you can sign my new one. Then we will be.
Maybe. I mean, whether I'm in London or you come to Bali, just bring it on. I'll sign it. As long as it's not a piece of paper, I'll sign it. Well, without a doubt, your team is incredible, and thanks for sharing on the insights of why Blast Royale. And me personally, I think it's a really good title. Like the naming itself, it's engaging. As you said, it's a blast. Like, wow, you can describe a game being good by saying that it's a blast. Speaking of the team, Rennie, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, cool. So my name's Rennie. I work as the marketing lead at Blast Royale. I've spent many years working in marketing, lots of years in Web 2. I've run my own NGO charities around Europe. I've also dived into Web3 projects in the past, and lots of NFT projects as well. I've probably spent way too much money per month on NFTs, keeping that a secret from my other half. But yeah, deep into crypto, NFT, and specifically gaming. If I'm not sitting here working on Blast Royale, I've probably moved over to the other side, and I've got the Xbox out and playing some Battle Royale games. But right now I work on the marketing side of things. We've got lots of events happening. We're building up an incredible community. So right now it's all systems go on making sure that everyone is having fun with the beta version of our game that is currently live, and that all of the upcoming drops are exciting, that people are going to be able to enjoy them to the best of what they can, of what's available, and to make sure that our global launch is a success, and as many people as possible know about it and are ready to jump in the action and blast some people away.
Quick question. What was the last NFT that you bought?
The last NFT I bought, oh my gosh, that was
tell me how much it dropped in price since then.
Yeah, they've all dropped in price, right? So I'm trying not to think about that. I'm just keeping them all holding strong, and I'll look back at it in a few months' time, I think. But I think the last one was I'll have to double check now. It was a Solana project, a Solana NFT. It was a profile photo collection. Just a cool looking NFT, I think.
Nice. I bought one called Icon. I don't know if you're aware of that project.
Icon. Is it with a K?
Yeah, EY3KON. It's got quite a good team behind it. It was backed by a few, but it has dropped in price, of course. So we'll have
interesting. All right, let's get back to Blast Royale. Since we are on the topic of NFTs, tell me, how do you incorporate NFTs and smart contract into the Blast Royale system?
Yeah, sure. So you can kind of see on the screen here some of our characters in Blast Royale, but you might also be aware of the things that they're wearing or the weapons that they're wielding. And those equipment items, they are the NFTs in our game. So in our game, we have like completely unique items. So no two people will own the same item. It's 100% unique, which I think is really cool. Other games, they do their NFTs by having the character. We decided to do it on the equipment instead. We wanted to do that because we wanted to give people like individuality, uniqueness to play in the game. We think that's kind of what NFTs are about, right? It's a non-fungible token. It's totally unique.
Right.
Owns the same thing. So what's the point of me owning a character if 10,000 other people also own the same character? It's not really unique in that kind of respect. So we want to make each individual piece of equipment slightly different. That's based on its stats. It's kind of modified. So in order to play our game at launch, we will have a free-to-play version later. But when we first debut the game, you need to have 3 NFTs to play. So they can be a weapon, they can be a helmet, they can be an armor set, they can be a shield. You also have like an amulet. So we have these kind of 5 slots that you can put on a character. You need 3 to play, but you can put as many as 5 on your character. And then they're going to influence your effectiveness. So Here we go. I don't know what the sound for.
Somebody got too excited.
Oh, good. You blast, having a blast. That's why. So
Having a blast, yeah.
That's when you're in battle royale mode. Is when you drop onto the map, you initially start without any equipment. But when you go to like the first crate and pick up loot out of it, you will pick up some of those items that you see in the field, and then they attach to your character. And then you progress on it. So that's kind of cool because it means you can have some kind of consistency as well in how you play. So you might like playing like a kind of sniper build, or you might like playing like a close range shotgun build, and you can opt to choose to do that using the NFTs that you have in the game. On top of that as well, the way that we've made the game is we really wanted to add something to the experience by having NFTs. Like, it's all well and good having blockchain in your game, but how does that actually matter in terms of gameplay and making it important? So the way that we've accomplished that is we've got like strategic choice in the game. So equipment kind of can counter other types of equipment that are in the game. We have these concepts of things called manufacturers and factions. And so you could have, for example, like a apocalypse shotgun, and that apocalypse shotgun could be especially strong against like sci-fi armor. So you may have an idea of what other people in the world are playing, and you could decide to build to take it out. But the thing is, like, so let's say we're playing together, JB, and you know that I'm making this build to counter you. Well, if you know that I know, you can change your build. So now you can have a build that counters my build that I thought was going to counter your build. So when I land in the game, when I start fighting, I'm like, oh my God, what's he doing? And so then we have like this kind of cool metagame aspect where you always have to think
It is quite strategic. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's always like, think about kind of like almost like a card game in that respect. So we wanted there to be like, we realized that a lot of times people spend as much of their time thinking about a game as they do playing it. So we want them to be spending time in our marketplace and thinking about what is the optimal strategy, how can they improve these.
Gamers love that. Gamers love that.
Well, that's what we ourselves love. And, some of the people on the team have experience with those kind of games in designing and playing them. So that's what we felt the unique element could be. And as I say, what's cool about that as well is that because the metagame is going to be shifting and undulating over time, it means there's always a chance that your NFTs could increase in value because people work out a new build for them. So it could be, for example, that you realize whilst playing the game that you think that the sniper rifle is like underutilized, like it's actually a good weapon, but currently in the game, people don't really realize it. Now, you could buy a lot of those sniper rifles yourself and they could go up in value, or, you could get your teammates and other people in your guild to go and acquire them and get them cheaply off the thing. And then you use them in the tournament, everyone realizes it's the best weapon. Now, of course, the demand to get that rifle is going to go through the roof, or vice versa. You don't have to play it that way too. You can just play for fun. But I think that's like a very interesting concept that you can have with it. And like the inspiration from this came from, I guess, like I say, card games like Magic the Gathering, where if you
that's what I was about to say.
Yeah. So I used to play that game quite a lot as a kid, and that was always something I thought was really cool. Was how sometimes as well you'd often get a card that was like at the time people thought it was like straight out garbage, and then 2 years later it was like the most powerful card in the game. And I can give you an example of that. There was this card called Lion's Eye Diamond, and when you played it, you had to discard your hand. So everyone thought, well, that's a terrible card because I have to get rid of all my resources. But then people realized that there were ways of utilizing the things in the graveyard when you discarded it to make it strong. So now all of a sudden, this card went from being considered garbage to being actually banned in some tournaments for how strong it is. Yeah. So obviously we don't want it to be maybe that strong where we have to ban equipment, because again, like NFTs, we want to protect it. And that's something we want to be a bit careful of as well. We don't want to have a game where like the balance is changing so you can't feel confident in what your equipment is. We think that like once the game is live, it should be immutable. That's what the blockchain is. So we would only ever make a change if something quite literally broke the game. If it was like, oh, if you take this shotgun, the game doesn't even load, of course we would fix it. But otherwise, we want that so that your value is protected. And again, looking at card games, like in Magic the Gathering, there's a card called Black Lotus, and I believe one of those has sold for over $1 million. So, you can't use it in tournaments, but it's still got that kind of cool factor to it. So we think that's like some of the interesting and fun aspects that NFTs can bring. And we wanted to bring that concept to the game. And then you kind of asked me earlier, like, why make Blast Royale? Well, when we looked at the territories where play-to-earn gaming is really big, it tends to be kind of like Southeast Asia at the moment is very popular, Latin America, kind of South Asia as well. And we looked at those markets, and Battle Royale is like one of the most popular genres there. You've got games like PUBG, you've got Garena Free Fire, you've got Zuba in Latin America. So we thought it just made a lot of sense to make a game that kind of, we knew people would like the gameplay, put the play to earn aspect on it, and make something cool with NFTs. And that's where this game kind of came out with. But our engine's pretty sophisticated as well. And it's funny because actually when you show the videos here, you're actually showing videos of our deathmatch mode. So that's an entirely different mode that we have within the same game that people can also play. And, you know, it means that in the future, you know, we could support new game modes if we wanted to make them, if our community were asking for them. That's why
like capture the flag, search and destroy. Like I'm a Call of Duty G. Like exactly. I love my Call of Duty.
Yeah. So all of these are totally possible, and that's what we think is really fun about you know, Web3 games as well. Is that in the past, what would happen is that if we were working for a developer, we would spend like 2 years making a game in silence. No one would know about it. It's all kept behind closed doors, and then you announce it, right? But this way of making games is completely different. Now you show the product early. People get interested in it, and people who get into your product early, not only can they help direct the direction of the game, but they also stand to benefit from how well your game does. And I think that's like super duper cool, because that means that, like, you know, if it's a game that I genuinely like, then of course I'm going to tell my friends about it anyway, because I like the game anyway. But if all of a sudden all my stuff that I got into, because I got into the game 2 years before it exploded in popularity, then happens to have some kind of value for me as a person, then that's good, because it rewards me for being a fan. If you think about it, in other games, like say Call of Duty, if you told me to like go out to the shop and buy the game to play it together, you don't get anything from that. Activision just says, oh, thank you very much, JP, cool, you know, but there's nothing in it for you. Whereas if
there's a lot of fun and a lot of stress, I'll tell you that.
A lot of broken friendships when you kill one another.
I mean, but also that's the thing. That's something I actually wanted to bring up, like Web 2 games and Web 3 games. The differences would be is that Web 3 is so early. Like you look at the Web 2 games way back in the day, it's been different. Web 3 games right now are just establishing its presence, and we need to bear with, like, a lot of games are straight up not fun. I'm not going to say names, but there are games that are not fun at all. The only point of it is just the tokenomics and possible earning that you could make in there. But like games like Blast Royale, I think, are one of those games that actually going to bridge Web 2 gamer to the Web 3 gaming, and actually going to show them the fun of not only playing the game, but also the fun of owning what you have in the game, and possibly when you don't want to play it anymore, you can sell it to somebody else. I think this is the beauty, because like Call of Duty, it's a 60 quid every year, and every other year, again and again and again. It's a good game, there's storylines and everything, but you can now have it like in-game purchases. Like I don't know how much I've spent on Warzone. I don't want to know. But like if I could own that piece of equipment and I could actually sell it afterwards, and maybe you could bear some like skill set, like a legendary level of like having 100 headshots in like, I don't know, in 10 games, that would be cool. That takes me to the next question that I wanted to ask. The NFTs, you said you have to have at least 3 on your character, 3 to 5. Actually, this question has 2 parts. First one, do they give you any like unfair advantage that you could have over people who don't have those NFTs, or don't have like 3 over 5 NFTs, for example? And I actually forgot the second one. Just keep going, and we're gonna get onto the second part of it soon.
Yeah, it'll probably trigger your memory. So I just want to be clear that it's kind of 2 stages of our game launch. So whilst the initial launch you have to have NFTs, a few months after that we'll make a version where you don't need any NFTs to play. You can play. Oh,
that's good. So everybody will be able to get into the game.
Yeah.
This is amazing. Yeah.
The reason why we're not doing that immediately is purely because we want to control numbers in the game while we test it and balance it and tune it. So what we've seen a mistake that other games have done, including games from people like Activision and Blizzard and companies like that, is they let too many millions of players play the game on day one, and then it crashes the servers, and then there's like tuning balances, and no one likes that. Like if you play like a game and then they have to nerf something after 2 weeks, and you just bought, you know, that set and spend money on it, that's really bad. So we want to avoid that. So that's one reason why we're doing that. So that means on day one, everyone will have an NFT, so it doesn't really give you an advantage. When we come to the free-to-play version, what's going to happen is that the game is kind of split into various leagues and tiers. In the lower tiers, actually, people without NFTs, it will only be those players. So, you know, you need NFTs to actually earn the crypto in a game. If you play the game without NFTs, you'll be able
So
to
you can't earn.
Yeah, you can enjoy it, but when you get to like the end of the match, you'll be like, oh, hey, JB, you could have earned 50.
This is good. This is good.
But you don't actually earn anything. So that's fine. That means you can play the game completely for free. You can enjoy it. You get all the modes, all the access, but you just don't get that potential. And so that's kind of like us to incentivize you as to why you'd want to do that. And then, you know, what we're trying to, you know, make players understand is that if they play the game and they really enjoy it, then they can decide to make the commitment. And we're kind of like teasing you as this is like the cherry on the top for when you do that. So that's answering that kind of aspect.
It is. And the second part of the question was actually what you have just answered, is that how do you earn in a game? How does that system work here? And you said, like, if you have the NFTs, you get your tokens. But having 5 NFTs over 3 NFTs, does it give you more tokens? And how is the pot distributed? Like, how does that work? How can you earn playing Blast Royale?
It is a bit like that. We have a system called a pool system. So you have a certain amount of craft spice. That's the token that you can harvest in the game with your equipment every day. And the more NFTs that you own, the higher that pool will be. And also it will give you some bonus to how fast you can collect it. So the calculation is quite complicated, the way that we've done it. What I would say is that, like, if you only have 3 NFTs, you can still claim all of the craft spice in your pool every day. It's just going to take you longer to do that. So of course we wanted to build something that incentivizes you to have more equipment, more NFTs, but that also gives you, the player, more enjoyment because you can switch between your sets. So if you think about the build, you know, if you've only got one weapon and that's the rocket launcher, then do you want to play that build every time you play? Probably not. So, you know, if you have 3 weapons, you can rotate it each one you get to kind of make the sort of quests more enjoyable for you to do every day, and you can do it. Yeah, you'll get more enjoyment out of it that way.
And what you have mentioned earlier is that, like, it's going to come in trends. Let's say all of a sudden everybody using shotguns, and shotguns are expensive, but sniper rifles are not. I would make a smart decision to probably go and get me a bunch of sniper rifles. Why? Because I will be able to sell them on the secondary market within the game. So everybody's going to pick it up once the hype is there for the sniper rifle. And you also said that I can play smart. Like, let's say 3 of us play, right? I know you guys personally. I know how you play. I've played with you before. But as a newcomer, when I come into the game, I would not know how these people play. And I would not know what build is going to perform better in this battle. Is there a way that I could look up the gaming history of each participant of the match so I can see what they have done in the past 3 games, for example? And I will start thinking, being like, okay, would that be possible to calculate the chances of this guy picking the same set right now? And what's going to be the best combination of the NFTs that I have in Blast Royale to have an advantage over him in the battlefield?
Kind of. What we do is we always have something outside of the game, which is the marketplace, that has that kind of stuff as well. So that is something that's not planned for launch, but that's kind of a cool thing to do, to have a kind of like a ledger almost of players who are actually active in the database and see who they are. And yes, you'll be able to see, I mean, that's the advantage of it being on chain, right? Is you'll be able to see the match results, what equipment they used, where they placed, etc., etc. So that would be good, but it won't be as easy as seeing it in the game. You'd have to do like a little bit of work aside from that.
Got it. So if you want to play smart, you got to use your hands too.
Yeah.
Good. This is good. This is nice.
Just hearing what you said there about strategy, you can imagine how many other thousands of ideas that could be raised about what ways are the best strategies in order to win.
Right.
You know, the map as well, and all the different random things that are going to happen on the map, where you position yourself. All of this, there's so much to take into consideration, and this is why, you know, teaming up with other people, chatting about it, watching YouTube videos about builds, about locations, positioning, strategies to get wins, to get more kills, like it's limitless, really.
Speaking of maps in Blast Royale, are those NFTs? Can we buy some land plots and host those games and potentially make passive income?
Perhaps. At the moment they're not, but that is something as a team we have thought about, because it makes sense for the reason that you said. I mean, what if you could battle in the Unix arena, for example, right? And anyone to the Unix Arena tournament has to pay a certain amount of Blast, and you as the owner get a break of that, and then the player also wins, etc., etc. So it makes a lot of sense. It's something that we might do. I have to say that as of right now, we still as a team aren't 100% sold on the kind of idea of land, purely because what we don't want to see is games where, like, I've seen some games where land plots sell for, like, 400,000 ETH, which would be the other side by Yuga Labs.
We're not there right now. We're not there right now. It's a bear market. It's the perfect timing to buy.
Well, not just that, but the thing is that if you need that land to play the game, then that's bad, because it means that people can't do it. So I think the way that we want to set it is the idea that you suggested is very good, because that wouldn't stop people from playing, but it would also, let's say, sponsors motivation for owning the land. So that type of idea we like. What I'm saying is we want to be like player friendly. What we don't want to see in the game is that, like, it becomes like a pay to win game where, like, you can
No. Yeah. It's like, if I own a plot of land, I cannot play on the same land. Like in poker, you cannot be taking a cut of everybody's losses. Like, it's illegal. What I'm saying is, like, let's say you have 10 maps, right? Just 10. All of them are owned by you. Then they're getting auctioned, and then whenever somebody buys, they get a piece of the pot for hosting that. And it could potentially even be hosted on their storage. Like, you don't even have to store it on your servers potentially. I don't know how technically you guys do that, but that could be fun. I would probably get me a piece of land there, because I know that I expect Blast Royale to have a lot of activity, a lot of games, and put me on the whitelist.
I think this touches on the Blastverse that we're creating and all the different possibilities long term. There's so many different routes, and I think the key here for us is to make sure that we are very clear, we're very organized, and we are doing a really good job on each stage. And rather than taking on 100 or 1,000 different things, different features too soon, and that touches on to the making sure that we don't go crazy and have millions and millions of people on launch, and then we set ourselves back, and then there's other problems. And I think this kind of touches on that same point of all these ideas are definitely things that are being thought of, and it's making sure that we do it at the right time to make sure that everything is sustainable for the long-term growth.
Yeah, I think that's a really good approach. And like, we have calls with a lot of people from different projects, and the ones that stand out, first thing is that people are long-term oriented. If somebody's here for the cash grab, like, I personally spoke to people who are making game projects who are not gamers. They're not even like VC level. They're just like real estate guys, and they're like, oh, we're making these games, it's a big market. And I see the deck, and the deck is telling me about how big the market is, how small the Web3 market is, how big the gaming market is, how small the Web3 gaming is. And it's like, I don't need market research. Like, if you guys are in the game, I know what we're talking about.
Exactly.
You see a lot of go on, Neil.
And I said that gives, like, the whole industry as well a bad rap when people do that kind of thing. So yeah, as you say, we're in it for the long term. We want to make a great game. We want to make other games that are set in the Blastverse too. We've got assets able to move across them. So that's why it's got to be a fun game. It's got to be a great game that we ourselves enjoy and want to play. And as I say, that's why we play it every day, because we know ourselves, if people aren't liking what we're making, then why will anyone else play our game? So we have to conquer that mountain first. But luckily, I think we're conquering it pretty good at the moment. So
I have played Blast Royale on an iPhone. It's an old version from what I know, and I'm pretty sure there's so many improvements that I would love to test them out. How does the demo go right now? Would you be able to, like, send me like a demo link that I could play internally here?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
right
Let's
now we've got
the time to play games.
Sure.
No. Yeah, Rennie?
Yeah, no, I was going to say, yeah, right now we've got the deathmatch, which is currently available for beta, and we've got quite a lot of people that are testing out the game, and we've done a little update on some of the bugs and so forth. And right now we've been doing live streams with the community. We've been doing tournaments. Some of the guild partners that we've got have been doing tournaments and lots of sort of incentives and prizes ahead of the global launch. And so far it's good fun. This is a very basic version. This is something to tie the community over. But even with the with how basic it is and just being the deathmatch version and not our official primary game mode, it's already quite fun. You could jump into our Discord and you could probably put a code up and you'd have 5 or 6 people join you straight away. It's something that's going really well so far, but this really is like day one of our entire game and what's to be coming in the future. So all I can say is there's just massive things to come, and right now it's already going really well, and we're so happy with how well it's going already that we're very, very, very confident and hopeful for the coming months.
Amazing. Could you, for the coming months, actually, can you tell us a little bit about your Blast box and the NFT sales?
Yeah, sure. So right now we are currently Blast listing, which is the equivalent of whitelisting. We currently have live Blast list campaign. We have to brand it a little bit. It's a bit more fun, Blast list, right? That's live right now, so people can get on the Blast list. There's a lot of details that are to be revealed, such as the price, the mint date, and so forth. There are all of this information is going to be dropped very soon. There's also some special utility for this first NFT drop. So really being this early, being an OG, being early right now, because we are still very early. We haven't even launched our game yet, so that's how early we are. But being on this first round of the NFT sales, being able to mint the first Blast box, which consists of 3 NFT pieces of equipment, it's going to be quite cool. And for all those who do manage to mint, you're going to gain access to our game on our launch, and you'll be able to look back in a year or 2 years time and be able to show screenshots of when you opened your first Blast box, had the first ever piece of equipment, and who knows what the NFTs will be like in terms of value and what they'll look like in the future. But it could be really cool to be one of those first. Everyone wants to be the first, right? Everyone wants to be an OG and be have that spotlight. So this is all happening right now, and we're expecting that the mint date is very likely going to be like a few weeks before our official launch. However, this is still to be announced, and we don't want to overpromise anything, and there's a lot that moves in terms of development. So we'd rather just make sure that we really know the dates before we start announcing and then accidentally overpromising anything.
I'll tell you that this is a right way to do things, because some projects announce it like, okay, June 24 at 4 p.m. we are gonna have our TGE, and then it's postponed, and you're just like, what is going on? Am I getting rug pulled here? Like this is the right thing to do. Don't announce dates as long as you're communicating to your community that you're working, and as long as you're saying like, okay, 2 weeks before the game release we're gonna have our NFT sales. It makes perfect sense to me. Like, why would I need this NFT right now? Like, the market is unstable, and like, you want it or not, we are all affected by the market state, and right now we're just gonna build, gotta focus, gotta communicate with the people from the industry, and
one of the key things we value. Sorry, I was just going to say, one of the key things we value is transparency with our community, keeping them fully in the loop the best we can. We can't always reveal everything, just in case we accidentally overpromise something. But it's if we at any stage do have to push something back, or we do have to make some changes due to the market or due to sustainable project. And oh, sorry, did you lose me?
I thought you're gone, but you're back.
Okay, Continue. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we're gonna hear you. All good.
Okay, cool. Now, just saying that in order for us to make sure that we do launch a project that is sustainable, that we're hitting our goals long term, we're here for just 1 year. We're looking to make a game that is on everyone's mobile devices around the world. We're looking to go mainstream. We want to be in everyone's house. So in order to make sure we do that, it's very important that we launch things at the right time. So that's where the transparency comes. So if at any time we do need to make any changes, we will be completely transparent with our community, and we'll let them know why and how it's in their benefit that we make sure we take the right time needed to develop the project and all of the things that comes with it.
Nice. Do we have any questions from the community? Remy, do you see anything interesting up there in the comment section? We just spoke about it. Tomorrow, 12 p.m. You guys said, right?
Yeah, 11.
11. I'm sorry, GMT.
That's it. Yeah, and it's a free mint.
All right, that's a good
Everyone
one.
gets
That's a good one. Yeah. You're gonna get the link in your email. Just click it. I'm kidding. Nobody quote me on that. This is just scam. Don't click any links that you release that you get in your DMs or emails. Don't do that.
Never.
All right. Remy, do you have anything else? I mean, I have some interesting things here too. What wallet do you... Okay, what wallet? This is actually an interesting topic because wallet usually ties to the blockchain. And we actually have a question from our Twitter. Remy, could you pull up the Twitter question? Another one. Gotta get my glasses.
Well, I can say what it says.
I think it takes a moment.
To go live on Polygon, and that relates to your wallet question. So you need a MetaMask wallet to be able to play Blast Royale. Why did we choose to go to Polygon? We evaluated all of the chains. We like the fact that there's pretty much zero gas fees with Polygon. It's got good scale-up facilities, what we're looking for. We think they've shown a good track record of being reliable in terms of like how often the network is functional. I think it also says a lot that Facebook, for example, are choosing to build on Polygon. A lot of the top games are also choosing to build on it too. So we think it's kind of proven itself in that regard. I don't think we have anything negative to say about other blockchains. It's just from a technical standpoint, looking at how many transactions we need to do per second and how often we touch the chain, and the kind of experience needed in the development team that we had. It basically scored the most amount of points. So I guess if you think about what we do as developers, we had a list of every blockchain. We score them like a point if they're good at this, take a point away, they do something like that. And in the end, the one that had the top score was Polygon. That's pretty much how we decided. So maybe that doesn't sound like the most scientific way to you, but that's how we kind of went on for it to use it.
I think that's the most scientific way that you can do. You actually evaluate valid points, not like, oh, I like the logo.
Yeah. Those points were awarded for logos, unfortunately, in our evaluation period.
Yeah, so just to sum it up, MetaMask is the G.
Yeah.
Just log in with your MetaMask.
Yeah.
Polygon is the blockchain, just because it's quick and it outperforms every other thing on the whiteboard. That's what's next to Polygon on that day, right?
Yeah.
Another thing that could be really interesting, and we can elaborate on a lot of things, is have you guys how long have you been working on the project? Like more than a year and a half probably, right?
Yes, so actually the engine that's used to power Blast Royale has been in development for actually 3 years. The game itself is around 11 months old. So we have an engine that allows us to do quite a lot of stuff with it. I have to be a bit careful what I say here, because otherwise I'll get in trouble with Rennie for giving away too many details. But let's just say that like the most complex thing with our engine is to make it a real-time multiplayer deterministic engine. That means that like you can't hack it. So it also means that like your ping is based on where you are in relation to the server rather than other players. So there's a type of networking called P2P, peer-to-peer. And that would mean if one person had bad connection, both players would suffer. But ours, because we have this kind of like central server route, it means that like I could play versus someone in China, right? But I won't experience any lag if the server was based in, for example, in France, because I'm closer to it. Now the player in China might have a bit more latency because they're further away, but it means that only one kind of person is. And what we'll try and do with the game is to have local servers all around the world. So wherever you play, you get a nice fast ping rate and you have responsiveness. The game is optimized to be 60 frames per second, etc., etc.
Nice,
really,
nice.
Yeah, because I have to say that we as a team, at one point we had it at 30 frames per second, and we're like, oh, it just doesn't feel good enough. Why don't we try 60 frames per second? We tried it, it felt amazing. But then the tech team
smooth.
but then the tech team were like, oh, but we can't make this work technically. And then we're like, you got to make it work. And they gave us some pretty dirty looks, but they stayed up late at night, and eventually they managed to get it working. And I think the consensus amongst the team is that makes a big difference to be able to play it that smooth. As you say, Call of Duty is also 60 frames per second for that reason.
Yeah.
That's something that has always been consistent in that series. No matter when it came out, they would rather it looked a bit worse, but that played faster. And I think we subscribe to that kind of school of thinking too. So yeah, game's been in development for a while, and it also means that we're flexible enough to sort of do other things with it. So that's why, for example, we have a deathmatch mode and we have a battle royale mode. And yeah, we could make capture the flag, Warzone. We could do a lot of things, and that's kind of what we see the future of the game. And as I mentioned to you, the great thing about Web3 is that you can work with the community. So I'm really looking forward to a point in our release where we can be like, okay, guys, what's the next game mode that we make in Blast Royale? And the actual community will tell us what we make. So rather than me answering you what the question is, I'll just be like, well, pop into our Discord and tell me what they said, because that's what we're going to do.
I believe that community is one of the strongest, if not the strongest aspect of the Web3 world. Why? Because like we have never had a say in what the next game is going to be. We would just buy it off the shelf, whether we like it or not. Not whether, if we like it, we buy it. If we don't like it, we don't. And now people, the communities can actually have a say in what the game is going to be. And I believe it's just beautiful. We are early in all of this. It's like the internet in 1997, but we are getting there to, like, sooner or later, we all going to decide on the next Call of Duty, like, or next GTA, where it's going to take place, what city. And I believe this is the beautiful times that we live in.
Well, we have a real life example of this.
Tell us.
When we launched our beta, when we launched our beta test of the deathmatch, we asked all of our community for feedback, and we dropped a little version update with a few changes in order to help that, help make some improvements, and specifically listen to a few of their comments. But more recently, we literally this week, we dropped a sneak peek of something that's coming up, and a sneak peek of one of the game features, the development of, basically it was a video of some shooting and the player getting pushed back, getting knocked back. So it was a knockback feature of gameplay. And immediately we received a ton of feedback about what they thought of that. So it's very likely, and although this isn't finalized because we're still in the development stage of it, it's very likely we're going to take that on board because there was such a strong, response from our community, and we value what they say. So, this is what we're doing here. We are trying to make a game for the people. There are certain things that we, as developers and people who have been in this industry for a long time, there are certain decisions that we need to make because we know it's the right thing to do. But there has to be that balance of knowing what the right thing to do is and listen to the community that are going to be playing this game every single day. And I think we're really, we're doing our best to make that have that balance right now. And so far, we're getting a good response from it.
Nice. Have you had any big challenges that you have faced while working on Blast Royale, and how did you overcome that as a Web3 project, as a game development project? Was there something in particular that you have faced with that you could share on the solution that could help other builders?
Every day is a challenge.
Right.
It's hard to maybe...
on that note, what's your daily routine like? Give me Wednesday, for example. What's the daily routine? How do you guys structure your workflow?
Yeah, well, we have multiple teams within the whole studio. So we have a gameplay team, which is the team that I lead. We have a marketing team, which Rennie leads, and we also have a core tech team. The core tech team does a lot of the kind of blockchain integration. They're working on the marketplace right now. So if you think about it, our game, you could always consider as being sort of 3 products in one. You've got the actual game that you play. You have the underlying tech that powers it and allows it to work immutably on the blockchain. And you also have the community. And I would consider that to be like a product, because we have to make sure that we have the most amazing community and we support and facilitate them. So that's why Rennie leads that team, and there's 4 to 5 people. Then of course we then work all together in conjunction to make the awesomeness that's Blast Royale. So what happens? How does our day look like? Between 10 and 10:30, each of those teams will do a stand-up, and they're going to kind of update them. So me and the gameplay team, we have a list of tasks. So we're working for a release. That release is going to be available next week. So that team's going to be working together to say, okay, how's the progress of this item? Is it on track? Is it behind? Do we need to put more firepower on it? Is it good enough to test? Will it make the play test that we're going to play through today? Etc. So it's just kind of making the tasks, fixing bugs, getting the release ready. core tech team is kind of similar, but their thing they're working on is the marketplace rather than the game. So is the current feature that we're working on in the marketplace working? So for example, we're going to allow you to scholar out your NFTs to other players. So is that feature working? Yeah. Why not? If not, what they need to do? How are they working on it? Are they doing the QA on it? And then the marketing team would be similar. It'd be like, okay, well, what marketing actions have we got today? Are we working with the community? What information are we going to unveil to the players? How many spots are we going to blast this? What are we doing tomorrow? How's next week looking? So it's quite hard to sort of give you a TLDR answer because so many people on the project are all doing different things. And then ultimately we all work together towards our various goals. And that goal will be to release the game and then to grow the game and then to make the game awesome. So, well, all at the same time, all eventually. But that's how we work as a team.
I'll tell you, you have answered my question, even though you did not specify anything. But the core thing that can make a project successful is communication. As you said, by the end of the day, all three teams get together on the bullet points, on the deliverables, and this is like, okay, this is what we have achieved. This is what the tech side have achieved. How can we market it right now? I think you guys doing an amazing job.
Oh, thank you. Well, actually, it's funny because that thing we do every Friday at the end of play is actually my favorite meeting. Mainly
at the end of play.
Yeah. Mainly
this
because
nice.
after meeting we can go to the pub and have a drink. So that's one reason I like it. But why it's good is it's kind of like a celebration of all of the work that everyone's done. And even though I kind of know what work everyone's doing anyway, sometimes when I see it being presented, it makes even me, as like one of the founders, think, wow, this is like incredible that the whole team is doing all this thing. And I see it around in the team as well, that it gives you that kind of sense of pride that everything is coming together. And then, sometimes if if you're on a gameplay team, you might not be aware of what the marketing or community team is doing or what the tech team is doing. So you get to see it live and fresh and it's exciting, and it might give you some ideas of what you could do to get that information out or some suggestions you can give. Actually, tomorrow we're just about to do like a team playthrough for every single person in the company before we do that as well, and that's going to be really exciting because then that's going to be the first time in a while that everyone's going to play like the latest and greatest build. So that's really cool as well. So yeah, but you're right. Actually, communication, believe it or not, is the number one value of First Light Games, because we've noticed that like without communication, you can't do anything. It's really important, to make sure that everyone knows what's going on. If you've got a question, why not? The amount of times, like basically when anything ever goes wrong, 99.9% of the time it's because of communication.
Lost in translation, right?
Yeah. Or was not even translated to begin with is quite often the problem as well. Like, oh, I thought you were doing this. Oh, I thought you were doing this. Oh, no one spoke to one another. Classic. That one happens so often. It's quite amazing. What can you do?
People are careless. That's all I'm going to say. As long as we can take care of our mind and have it in focus and communicate with other people. And actually, that's something that I have noticed is that if you don't really know what you're doing, you get together with the team. You guys discuss everything. Everybody just shares. You come out of the meeting, you're fresh. You know exactly what's going on. You know exactly what you're working on, and you see the milestones.
Exactly.
Spot on.
Nice. Remy, do we have any amazing questions from our lovely community here that we could answer before we wrap it all up?
None so far.
Do you guys? Not so far. Guys, there is like a comment section on the right. If you see something that you like, you can...
I didn't even see this until now.
Somebody's saying that will you be able to play Blast Royale on the Android phone, not only on the PC? But I believe it's mobile based first, and I'm not sure if you have a web version. Are you?
Yeah, at the moment it's mobile first. We may make a web or PC version later down the line, but initially we're just committing to making the mobile version. The reason for that is pretty much everyone in the world has a mobile phone, so
there's a lot of market. Got to tap into that.
Yeah, and for most people, it's their number one kind of like gaming device as well. Actually, at the moment, although like some of us may be fortunate to own like PlayStation and things like that. There's not as many PlayStation 5s in the world as there are phones. That's just the fact. So
exactly, and there's a shortage. So
yeah,
I have an interesting question. Since the play to earn Web3 game comes to a phone, how do you manage the wallet integration and in-game payments based on the fact that usually the marketplace, a marketplace as in Google Play or Apple Store, they have to take a cut from you for whatever non-physical project that you sell. So what's the deal with the wallet integration in a play-to-earn game on a mobile phone these days?
Yeah, so that's why we have our own external marketplace. So to play the game, you log in with an account, you play the game as per usual, but actually all of the purchases you make are not done in the app, they're done outside of the app in our marketplace. So yeah, yeah, exactly.
That's the same thing with Spotify and Netflix. They don't allow you to subscribe on the app on the iPhone.
Yeah.
And also they cannot link you there, but they say on our website you could, and you just like, you need login, you cannot do it here. It's like, okay, I get it. Like,
but I have to say, my personal feeling is that maybe a year from now, that will be a different conversation, because
right?
I think that both platform providers will allow you to purchase NFTs and crypto inside the app. Obviously, we'll have to wait for it to happen, but I would be extremely surprised if that wasn't the case. And then it will make it a lot easier.
Looking forward to the future of crypto integration and Web3 being a part of our lives on a daily basis, do you think Apple is going to have their own wallet that you have to use? Like they have the Game Center, right? Game Center is going to become a wallet and the social network for all of the games on an iPhone. Do you think that you having a product on an iPhone would have to integrate with their own wallet, so Apple customers could use that and then potentially transfer from their wallet to their own MetaMask wallet to use it on the marketplace?
I think you've summarized what I think the solution will be. I think they will probably have to allow you to use other wallets too, but I think they will have like a native one. But I don't think that's a bad thing per se, because that will mean that it's easier for mainstream adoption to play the game, because they won't have to set up a wallet. It will already be on. You just buy your phone, it's got a wallet on it automatically, and it's looked after you. And therefore, if you want the advanced usability and features that you can get through something like MetaMask or Phantom or something like that, you can still do that. But if you just want to kind of enjoy the game and play it and have fun, you also have that aspect too. So I think they will do something very similar to what you said. They'll have their kind of own systems that, let's say, 90% of customers use to begin with, until things get more sophisticated and people move around it. And I actually welcome that initially, because I think that's what's needed to really open the floodgates. Because that's how Web3 games goes from like a couple of thousand people that are part of the Unix guilds to there being 100 million. Because then there's no reason everyone can join at that point. Yeah. So
just make it easy to access, and what you guys have. Free to play at some point is going to come there. You cannot earn, but this is how much you could earn. This is really good marketing. Good job, Rainy, on that one. And yeah, final question, just a quick one for all of us. What's the price of Bitcoin in October 2022? Let's see who's going to be the closest one.
In October?
This October, yeah. Let's say October 14, 15, like mid-month.
Yeah, I would be maybe more bullish than others. I would probably go 24K, which is a long way off for its sort of all-time high, but it's up from where it is now, and it would be showing signs of recovery. That would be my prediction.
Rennie, what do you think? BTC October 2022.
Yeah, that's 4 months away from now. I give it a few, then I don't know. I reckon we're still going to be looking around 20,000.
Okay.
How about you, JB?
I will probably go a little more bullish. I don't know, but I'm thinking maybe around 30K.
Okay.
We're probably going to be shaking around like 32, 29, like 30-ish, 32. Let's put it there.
I want to live in your world, JB, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, I know it's not happening, but like you gave 20 pretty much, and like I got to take something. I don't think it's going to be 13 in October. I feel like it could say hello to the 13 mark in the next coming month. That's for sure. No, nothing is for sure, but that's for sure something that I'm thinking about. But yeah, October, let's call it 32,000. A little optimistic, but let's see.
You know, I heard, I've seen some tweets before, and it's like, so there's a very good chance that in the coming months, the Bitcoin price could go up. There's also a very good chance that it could go down. quote
an
save
amazing
this tweet
research.
And save this tweet, and you heard it from me first.
Yeah.
Cutting edge analysis there.
That's it. Yeah.
There has been
There's actually been a few questions. I don't know if you've got time for them now, but
which one? I have time. I'll tell you that.
I just want to quickly do a big shout out to all of our community, the Blast Royale community. I can see a few of these names.
Yes. Can we get a round of applause, Remy?
Iceman, Bagger. There we go. I love to see the community showing support here. They come in strength, right? And we notice them, especially in game. They come and they dominate. So big shout out to those guys.
Thank you everybody for tuning in today. It has been an amazing pleasure to be hosting this handsome guys on this the most handsome AMA on YouTube that you have ever seen.
Handsome Royale.
Handsome Royale. Oh my god, yeah.
It's a nickname of a character, right? I see that coming. Handsome Harry, the new character.
Oh, this is the reveal we have been telling you about.
That's it. That's it.
Awesome.
Are you waiting for a reveal? Are you?
No. You just said Handsome Harry.
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean, you said
character,
I don't know if that's the reveal, but you said new character. So I'm like, guys, we told you there's going to be something exclusive. So Handsome Harry is the one.
Okay, here's the reveal, guys, and hopefully this covers. And this is enough reason why you tuned in and why you should always tune into these podcasts. The reveal today is that very, very soon, everyone who is a beta tester for our game are not going to be playing the maps that they're playing right now, and they're going to be playing a completely different map. That's all I'm sharing. Hey.
What kind of
That's
weather?
go crazy on Discord.
What kind of weather is it going to be? Is it desert? Is it forest? Is it rainy?
I mean, I think it's very important that we make up for some of the British weather that we haven't been having. So I think you're going to see a little bit of sunshine.
Nice one. Well, I'm pretty sure you guys are going to be spending a little more time on Blast Royale since it gets sunny there. And yeah, I see you got some sunshine out there through the window on your left, right?
Yeah, we do actually. Yeah.
Nice. That's
cleared up. It's
finally cleared up.
Just for this podcast.
That's amazing. That's amazing. All-time high made it bright in London. This is good. I like that. Okay, next call we're gonna have when you guys have winter time and we see no, it's not gonna be that late, but like next time we're gonna change weather in some other part of the world. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Please like this video, subscribe, share it with a friend, with your grandma, with your cat, everybody. And in the comment section below, tell us how you like it, how you rate it. We love some feedback. And yeah, thank you, Anil. Thank you, Rennie. My greatest pleasure to be hosting you guys.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you later, guys.
See you later. Bye-bye.